Well, this always happens. The minute I decide to rearrange my shelves and put something up on that top shelf where I have to use this ladder to get to it, it sells, which is not a bad thing. But so there's a tip for you. If you want something to sell, apparently put it in an inconvenient area and then it will sell. And I've got to get this peacock down. There you are. I put it up here on the top thinking that, you know, it's tall and I won't need it for a while. And then it sold, which is a good thing. Hey everybody, welcome back. Once again, I have some very interesting things that have sold this week in my vintage store on Etsy. So I just reorganized my Etsy room, which I'm in the process of it, okay? And that's the room where I keep all my inventory, I do my shipping and everything. And so I was utilizing these shelves behind me. And I was trying to put some larger items like this peacock up on the top shelves because it's more secure up there and also it wouldn't break. And I was just thinking, I just got this not too long ago. I featured it in another video where I picked this up, and this is Sirocco. And so they usually came in a pair, but I only found the one. And I put it up with thinking that it's not like the most popular item, so I thought it'll be a while before it sells. Well, I tell you what, just yesterday I put it on that top shelf, which I have to use a step ladder to get to, and it sold overnight. So I don't know if that's a little trick, but you know what? It might be. Put your stuff somewhere hard to find and it will sell. So I want to show you some things that have sold this week. Some of it I have right here with me because I am getting ready to box it up and get it out. And then some things I will just have to put up on the screen and kind of tell you what it sold for. If I can remember what I bought it for, I will also put that up because it's always interesting to me to see what's selling in vintage. So whether you're a reseller or not, it might be interesting to you to see what's been selling. I just saw this sweet little bird. I'm thinking it's probably like a Royal Copley thing. It does have that kind of finish on it, but very pretty for the spring and summer. And I just sold that. Try not to break this. This very cool spice rack. These are redware, and you can kind of see on there, it's kind of faded, but it has like the little spices on there with the actual caddy. And it's just a wooden caddy. I'm trying to hold this so it doesn't fall. This is a repeat buyer for me. The person just bought some salt and pepper shakers last week and they have come back. Hopefully they used their coupon for return customers, which is a thank you coupon. If you sell on Etsy, you can set up thank you coupons that will send the person a coupon for the percentage. I believe you can choose the percentage, probably 10, 15, or 20. And it will send them a coupon when they buy something to let them know if they would like to buy something else, they can use their coupon. And that's what this person probably did. I will show you what I'm going to set this down, but I'll show you what these little spice jars look like. So they're triangles, so they fit right into that little wooden spot, but just the coolest shape. And then they have this really cool rooster design and then the little wooden stopper in the bottom. And then it has 6 spices in there. This one's cinnamon. But very cool piece. I think this will be really neat in someone's decor if they use vintage in their kitchen or whatever. So this is an item that I've had for quite a while in the shop, but it just sold. So never give up hope. Those items that you've had for a while, you know, I do mark things down periodically to try to move things out, but this is one item that had not sold. But luckily it was somewhere easy to get, unlike the peacock. Then I sold this little iridescent, it's like carnival glass type thing. You probably can't see through it. I can see through it through the light, but you won't be able to see that. It has like this, it says Home Sweet Home on it, and it has like this really cool like log cabin design. I see these quite a bit. I probably picked this up for nearly nothing, but I did just sell this. More of like kind of a paperweight type thing or collectible. And then this kind of crazy thing sold. This alligator crocodile. Now, this was a piece I had in my own collection. This was in our home when I was a child. And I don't normally sell things that I've had, like that I've gotten from my parents or that I've gotten, that I don't normally sell things that like I've had from my childhood home or that I've kept that my parents had. But this piece always creeped me out as a little kid. And I don't think this is something that someone in my family would have wanted. Usually I will ask people, do you want this? But I just happened to just decide to list it because it's been sitting around. It's just getting dusty on a shelf. I don't have anything to do with it. And honestly, it's just not my thing. Okay. It's very cool. I'm pretty sure my mom probably made it or one of her friends made it and gave it to her. It used to sit like on my dad's dresser. It's sort of like, you can put like little trinket things in here. Probably could be a planter. I think my dad just put like change in it, but it's a really cool piece. And, you know, handmade, a hobbyist piece, and probably a ceramics class. And something just told me, you know what, gators and crocodiles, they're popular. It's a logo and it's like a mascot for a lot of states and for a lot of football teams and it's a mascot kind of for a lot of southern states. So I thought I would take a chance. It's in really great condition. Well, I listed this literally yesterday and it sold. So I'm going to say I might be on the lookout for some crocodile and alligator stuff because he did pretty well. And he will be sheer profit because this is something that I owned that I didn't buy. That was given to me by my family and I just kept it in my stuff. But I was just cleaning out some stuff and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just like list this and see if somebody would want this. And they did. One of the items I'm super excited about, I'm going to put it up on the screen, was this brass sundial. It is featured in another video where I was talking about brass. I just picked it up recently. I haven't even had it a full month yet, but it's sold for $85. This is one of those things where we just took a chance. We found it at a flea market. I want to say we paid $20 or less for it. When we researched it online, there were a lot of them selling for over $100 on eBay. I listed mine for $85. That did include shipping. It didn't go too far away. I think the shipping on it was $9. So if you subtract all of that, I really still came out great on that. So this is my reminder to you almost every video. I don't know how long it's going to last, but brass is still hot. If you can find a sundial, that is your bolo. Be on the lookout for brass sundials, the vintage ones. It flew out the door, okay, quickly. And now you'll see that and the rest of the items that sold this week. Now, I haven't actually been out to give you a big shopping haul because I really haven't been anywhere great lately that had a lot that I bought. I really actually need to get back out because I think I've said this in another video, but I kind of hold off on buying new things if my store is slow. So if my sales are slow, I try not to go out and spend a lot of money on inventory because I try to take care of what I have, like dead stock and things that I haven't listed yet, instead of spending more money. But then, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. My sales just boom, start picking up. And then I'm realizing that I am out of new inventory. And I really do think that it helps personally, in my experience on Etsy, if I am constantly listing stuff. Now, I know if I'm constantly listing stuff, now that makes it sound like I have thousands and thousands of things in my inventory, and I don't. But if I'm selling 4 or 5 things like a day, or even 4 or 5 things a week, then I do like to replenish my store with 4 or 5 things so that my count in my store is always around the same of the items that I have in inventory, but also because the algorithm loves when there's traffic to your store. So if things are going out, or you're listing things, or you're putting things on sale, if you even get in your store and kind of like spruce it up a little bit, change out your little greeting or change out your featured listings, I personally think that that helps the algorithm kind of shine a light on your store. I do feel like maybe it pops up a little more often. Now, this could just be something I think, and there's no proof of this. It's just something that I feel like has happened with my own store. Okay, all that to say that I don't have a huge shopping haul, but I did pick up like a little goodie bag, kind of like a grab bag of stuff. Well, first let me show you this one thing was not a grab bag. I did pick this up a little while back. I don't know if I shared it though. I don't normally sell stuff like this, and I really wasn't sure if I could sell it on Etsy as vintage. It is vintage. It's a little knife set, and these are steak knives. Now, actually, they're in really good condition. They are stainless steel. They're marked on there. I want to say they're actually, yeah, they are marked stainless steel. They're, and it does say Japan, and with the wooden handle. What I really liked was it's in this little caddy. So, and the caddy has this little eagle on there. So very like mid-century, kind of like that bicentennial look or whatever, like the 70s. So I thought this was really cool. It's already listed in my store. I haven't had a whole lot of people or interest in it. So this might be one of those things where I thought it was gonna sell, but maybe it doesn't sell. Maybe this is not something people would wanna buy. In this little grab bag, there was like several little items. One was like a flower frog, which I think these do pretty well. This one, I thought it had like a little crack. It has like a little thing right here, which I can't tell. It doesn't go all the way through. I see lots of other resellers selling these. I've only sold a few. I usually like to keep them to use myself, but this is not the kind, you know, people like those little, I don't know, I'll put a picture up. I'll put a picture up. People like those little flower frogs that kind of have the spiky ends because they can use them for display of cards and things like that. These, you kind of have to have something with a larger end if you're not using it for its actual use of flowers, if you're using it to display something. And then some people just lay these out because they're kind of cool and interesting design. But this was in it. So this was worth the cost of the bag, which I think everything, it was like a little box. With the cost of the box, I think was like $5. So I do think everything I got in this box made it worth the $5. This alone, I think, would get me the $5 back. There was this little figurine, which is so adorable. Look at this. This is Lefton, and this is the Christopher collection, which I guess this little guy is named Christopher. I don't know. I have another one of these, and it's the same little guy, but he's like surfing or something, and it also said the Christopher collection. So I'm not sure what the Christopher collection is. I'll have to look that up. I am probably not going to sell this. I want to keep this for my daughter because my youngest daughter is getting married next April. And honestly, these two little people look like her and her fiance. We're either at a wedding or bridal shower. I am going to use this for my daughter. So this was a really great find. And this is not going to be for sale. I am keeping this. Little bag of these little appetizer forks were in there. Now it says $2, but actually it was in with the other stuff. So I don't know if someone at one time was trying to sell it for $2. But these are these really cute little tiny miniature appetizer forks. I have sold these before in the pastel colors that were in their original box. I've sold these like a couple of times. I have not tried to sell just one color. These are all the white ones. And so I'm not sure, and without the original box. So we will see how this does. This is also already listed. Anything already listed in my Etsy store, if you want to get a better look at it, I will link it below. That way you can kind of look at it. It'll show different pictures of it. I sell a lot of these if they have like the alpine decorations on them or a decoration on here. This one's actually just plain. It still works, as you can hear. And the top has a little leather piece that shows a lot of wear on there. So I'm not really sure if I should sell this, although it is adorable. I have a problem when things are a little worn, even though I sell vintage. Like, I really do hate to like sell something that has like damage to it or anything. So I like to look over it really well. This might sell, maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to look at it. This little plate stand, or maybe for a frame, was in there. It's foldable. It actually has a lot of rust on it. So I probably wouldn't sell this, but I could use it if I'm going to take pictures of something and I needed a stand for it. Then this mug was in there. Now this mug, it's getting ready to be Father's Day, so I think this mug would have been great, except it just has a lot of markings on there, and I don't know if I can get that off. I don't know if that's paint that's come off of there or if that's like a magic marker, but it just says Unbearably Cool Dad. Now also, I'm not sure if this is vintage because it looks kind of new, but it's real cute, and inside has like this little gold bow, like a nice cup, and the design is on both sides. I would have to see if I could clean this up to see if it would sell. Also, there was another mug in there, which I thought was really pretty. And it was this San Francisco mug, kind of like a stoneware mug, very clean. Now, it also had markings on the bottom. So I'd have to see if I could get that off. If I couldn't, I might try to sell this anyway, if there's no dings in it or anything, just because it is cool. I think this might be vintage. It looks like it might be, but I'm sure it's just like a souvenir mug. But really cool design on that one. And I do well with mugs and also souvenir mugs. If it has a city on it or a state, sometimes those do really well. And that's about all I have as far as like a shopping haul. Now, I have mentioned in my last video that I am doing some vintagey things or trying to get some things together for my daughter's wedding, which we have a whole year to plan this, okay? I mean, well, a little less than a year now. I have this huge box of letters. These are love letters that my daddy wrote to my mama. Now, I don't have the ones my mama wrote because my daddy, being a man, he didn't keep those. But my mama kept every letter that my daddy wrote to her because they dated for several years before they got married. And he also was in the military, and he also lived in a different state for a little while before they got married. But she saved them, and after my daddy died, my mama put them all together in chronological order with rubber bands around them. And some of them even have like little Post-it notes that she wrote on there to like describe what was happening during that time. Now, I inherited these after my mama died. My mama would never let us read them when she was alive. She used to get them out on Saturdays when she was missing my dad so much because he passed away first, and she would read them. She'd sit in a chair and she'd read them. And I always wanted to read them, but she said, not while I'm alive. They're very personal to me. But she said, when I'm gone, you can have these and you can read them. And so after she passed away, it was a while before I could read these. But I did sit down one night. Honestly, it took me almost the entire weekend because I just, it took me basically 2 nights to go through all of them. But I read every single letter, and my idea was when I kept these was to turn it into a book somehow for my siblings. So I have 4 brothers, and I thought that would be really cool, is to turn it into something where I could make copies of them and they could read about our parents' love story, because my parents were married for over 50 years before they passed away, and they truly just loved each other so much. But I had another thought. Now, if there was a way I could use a few of these or copies of these for my daughter's wedding, I also thought that would be really sweet and special because my daughter was very, very close to my mom, which was her grandmother. Have any ideas about how to use vintage ephemera? I don't want to do anything that would tear them up or like damage them in any way. But if there was a way to display them, or if you have any ideas, maybe I can make copies of them. I'm interested to hear if you have any ideas on that. She is going to have like a memory table for the grandparents on both sides that are no longer with us, and the people that have passed away that were close to the bride and groom. So perhaps we will figure out a way to use them in her wedding. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys because in one of my other videos, I did talk about the wedding, and I am going to be showing you this whole year. I may show you a little bit pieces of here and there about things we're doing, and especially if it ties into vintage, because I do think that's really cool. Like, I sell vintage, but I also love it. I like to use it occasionally in my decorating of my own house, as I'm sure you do too. And I also like to use it for special events. So any ideas you have is welcome. Well, that's all I have for you today. I'm hoping that I get out real soon, maybe this weekend, and get some more treasures for you and maybe some shop alongs and let you know what's going on. I appreciate you so much. I found so many cool channels lately. I noticed a few people that also resell have found my channel, and so I went to check out your channels and also subscribe to you. So if you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate
appreciate it if you did. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. I hope you'll come back and watch the next one. Until next time, I wish you well, and I'll see you real soon.